Today, we're going to talk about the psychology of influence. So, in the previous episode, we talked about the Jake Paul fight, and we talked about how even though he lost the fight in the ring, he really won the battle, and how marketing isn't just about this ad or this social clip or that social clip or a billboard or whatever you might be doing. It's the psychology behind all these different processes that you're building in your followers. You're building this way before they read about you. You might be building this before anybody even has a need for your service because they start to see you. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen this before. And this is a little bit different, but just bear with me for a second. Best Buy. I'm going to use Best Buy as an example. Phenomenal example. Great marketer. If you go to their website, you see this little teeny tiny little Best Buy on the corner of their website. It's not big and gaudy or nothing like that. Just this little tiny thing. But during the holidays, during the seasons, have you ever had a need or desire to buy a TV more than Christmas time? They start playing those videos on those big, beautiful QLED screens and all these different crystallized screens. I'm sitting there looking at my Vizio going, why do we have this piece of crap on the wall? Do you see the stuff the Best Buy has gotten? I don't have a need for a TV. They make me think that I need a TV because they're playing these ads. They are playing to either sometimes the vanity or need, right? So the psychology of influencing people is really, really key. And what I want to start to do in this episode and maybe a couple of the others, we're going to start to break this down a little bit more. We're going to go back to ninth grade. Go back to ninth grade psychology class. You know, we learned about Freud and some of that different stuff, Oedipus and all this weird shit, right? But what did we start to learn about influence? There was sections in there that talked about influence, why people buy, why people follow, and why people trust. And that's what we want to dig in for you guys. They follow and they learn and they build trust. You're influencing people right now. If you're driving on the road and somebody cuts you off, are you going to honk at them or do you stay calm? If you go into the gas station and you see an older lady or an older gentleman behind you, are you the person that stops and opens the door? Or maybe you just go in, or maybe you go in and leave the door open for them. Are you the person that goes into the restaurant and you see a veteran hat over there and you're like, hey, can I pay for that tab? Without even being seen or not seen. I'm not influencing the guy that's wearing the cap because I didn't tell him I paid the bill. But you better believe, unintentionally, because that was maybe not my intent, I just influenced the server. And then you make sure to leave her a good tip or him. You go through this process. You're influencing people, guys, every single day. When I walk into my office, do I say, hey, Chaz, hope you had a great night? Pava, hope you're having a good time. Hey, Kevin, blah, 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 blah. Or am I just some stuck in the mud dick that walks in and is like, duh, I'm going to go to work today? You know, your influence that you have on people, do you smile? Do you share a funny story? Do you come in with some amazing dad jokes, which I'm happy to share with anybody? If you want to send me a DM, I have a whole book of them. What you do when you're trying to build your business, your relationships, if you're going to church, if you're going to any kind of influencing circles at all where you can network, the influence you have on people is all up here. How you come across and build that trust is also up here for them. So we're going to build some of these habits, and I want to go through some. I'm going to break a few of these down. So it's not about influence. Okay. I don't want you to think we're trying to play mind games on people. We're just trying to be intentional with our thought process. The influence is happening before I ever speak. So like right now, I'm going to use Elevate with Enbody for a second. I want to break this down. So I want you guys to see it. At this point, we're at 27, 28 episodes. There has been zero ask of you. With the exception, I'm hoping to help. I'm hoping to build value. I'm hoping to bring value in some way, shape, or form. I hope to bring you a nugget that maybe you thought you knew, but you didn't know. I'm building that value. I'm trying to bring this to the table. There may be a time you have a need, and I will have potentially given my name an opportunity to at least be in the circle of something you guys would want to reach out to or talk to without ever making an ask at this point. Because all I'm trying to do right now is bring value. I don't know if you have a need. So when you guys are just being who you are and you're building that influence, the psychology behind it with some intent now can get kind of fun. People would decide before they buy. And here's why. You're being judged. I'm sorry, but you are. Does my shirt match my vest? I'll find out tonight. Is my hair combed? I'll find out tonight when I go home. But you're being judged in seconds, that fast. And here's the psychology behind it. Influence today is all psychological. It's not about the position or how you think you're being positioned. People don't follow titles. I don't care if you're the president or the chief bottle washer. People don't care. Actually, I'll go a step further. People might call you out and call you a narcissist if the first thing you're like, hi, Joe Schmo, president and CEO of Penn, Inc. I don't give a frick. There's 1,000 pens out there. You just sound like a complete dick, by the way. What can you do for me? People make those decisions so far in advance that I find it's worse than skunk to me. When I smell skunk, that's what I think about that. So I made the decision, and here's what sucks. That person could have the answer to my need. They could be the solution to my problem, but I've made a decision in my mind before I ever give this person really an opportunity to get beyond the introduction of their value proposition. You have to think about the psychology of how you do everything. So people are building trust. It's not in your credentials. So stop. Okay. Nobody cares. A lot of times they don't even buy logically. They buy with emotion. Remember, I've talked about this before. It's how you make people feel. They decide how they feel about you if you're familiar, if you're safe, if you're real. Guys, if you're familiar and you're safe and you're real, you're going to start to build that value proposition. And that's going to be way more important than what your title is. This is before they ever engage with you, by the way. This could be seen on your socials. They could see you across the room. They see you on stage giving a presentation. It doesn't matter. So before we get into too much of this, guys, I want to make sure that you understand the influence is about being persuasive. It's just not about trying to build it with title. And I want you to understand that it happens oftentimes before any of us ever even get a chance to give our pitch, before you even get a chance to ask. So we've talked about this before, right? Jab, 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 hook. It's Gary V, right? I love that book. Before you ever make your ask, you're giving these opportunities to build it up here, whether you realize it or not. And what's nice about influence is most people don't even realize they're doing it. They don't realize. Think of it to your children. Let's go down. And so you have children, you got these small kids, and let's say they see how you treat mom or how mom treats dad. They see that dad's a 2-pack a day smoker and mom's drinking her wine every night. They see that when dad and mom are angry or upset about something, they yell, they scream, maybe it gets physical. That influence that has on them could be tragic, right? Now, that's an extreme example, right? So if I'm coming to work today, I get cut off and I'm like, oh, F you, and I'm flipping somebody off. Am I going to come into work with a mindset of being successful? Am I just going to come here going, okay, click, turn that off, road rage. Now here I am. It reminds me of that old Goofy cartoon. And I don't know if you guys remember that when he was driving to work, he's got road rage, and then he comes to work and he carries that same rage throughout his day. If anybody wants to watch Goofy with me, DM me. I'm happy to watch cartoons with you anytime. Ask my kids. The question is, are you doing it with purpose or is it by accident? And sometimes you can accidentally trip and fall and shit and come out smelling like roses. But if you do it on purpose, guys, that will make a massive impact. And that's what we're going to break down. If you guys haven't watched the show before, welcome. Elevate with Enbody. I'm your host, Tim Enbody. I've leveraged my last 25 years of sales and marketing. I've done coaching, mentoring. I've been coached and mentored. I have 2 coaches right now I'm getting mentoring from. And I can't even tell you how many books I've read, how many webinars I've gone to, or audiobooks and things of that nature. My goal of this, the psychology behind my reasoning, is to help. Ultimately, I hope to be able to help somebody someday. I hope that you have a need that maybe I can fill. I hope that you have a roadblock that you look for suggestions beyond this. Now I'm just telling you behind the scenes, right? If you want to look at my notes, it's do Elevate with Enbody, give away data, but why? Why? We're talking about that right now. Here's the psychology behind it. So let's break this down. Thank you for joining. The culture that we build when you're building this influence for people, intentionally or by accident, why people decide who they trust, who they follow, and who they buy from. In business today is so amazing. In the world today, it's amazing. It's getting to the point right now where you look at your TikTok or you look at any of these other social platforms, and now you have to go, wait a minute. Are they really selling donkeys at Best Buy right now on the parking lot? No, somebody got really good with their AI and they put it out there, but they made you think it. It's amazing what people will look at on the TV screen or their cell phones in the belief that they have. So it's very easy to do this. And I'm asking you, please don't do it. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you this. If you use this to manipulate people, you're an asshole. You're a dick. I can go on and on. Use it to influence them in a positive way. Stand out. This is your chance to stand apart from that, because I'm telling you, that's the easy path. The easy path, the easy road is utilizing AI as a weapon versus a tool, utilizing it to cover up your lack thereof. Like, I mean, it would be so much easier for me if I said, Chaz, do me a favor. I want you to do something like this generated with AI. I need you to give me a good 5 o'clock shadow. Make my beard about three shades darker. Don't let me speak cursive. Make sure I sound intelligent, at least 10th grade level. Help me. So when I'm trying to sell Elevate with Enbody with everybody, I can manipulate them. I can make them that the better me, the polish me is real. Remember Santa Claus, how he duplicates himself? We were talking about Santa Claus today. And he goes in there because he wants to have more time with his family. So he duplicates himself. And all of a sudden, here comes the robot one, and he's following the book, the naughty list. If you're on the naughty list, boom, you get coal. I mean, he goes right down it. We also seen this in other movies with Multiplicity. He wants to have more time for his family. He wants to have more time for golf. So he tries to duplicate. AI is not the answer. It's a tool. Don't use it to mess with somebody. Don't manipulate them. Because influencing people, it does really work. It's a superpower. We talked about consistency being a superpower. You can manipulate people in a good way or a bad way. Let's use it for good. Let's get something straight. People are not going to buy from you because they necessarily understand everything you guys say. People are going to buy because of how you make them feel, right? So when people are buying, they feel comfortable. Sometimes their guard's still up. They're protected. But in the mortgage world, if I'm going to give you my social, date of birth, height, weight, eye color, I have some trust and I have a need. If you're going to come mow my lawn or detail my car, my guard might be a little bit lower because the transactional price may not be as, scary. But I'm going to go buy a $70,000 pickup truck. My guard's back up, right? If I'm going to come and have a conversation with you and you're going to help me do a commercial loan, or you're going to help me do an SBA loan to build a business, or maybe you're just doing window tinting on my car. And I have a lot of these people I talk to. So I hope you're listening because I'm trying to give you a little bit of that. Maybe you're a coach and you're wanting to coach with people and you want people to see the better side of you. But the reality of it is, show them the real you. Show them the real you. Let them get comfortable with who you are before they ever get a chance to buy. Because when you build comfort, you become, what did I say earlier? Familiar and consistent. That repetition without pressure is so strong, guys. I mean, repetition without pressure is, and when you're thinking about breaking this down from a psychological way, that will allow your social media, your marketing efforts to come across, and that could become trendy. Because there's so many people that are trying to cheat the system that when you come across the other way, that could be the trend. You could be the trend center by not being one of those people. It will just simply shorten the trust gap. So don't do it. And that's how you get repeat clients, right? The brain decides first. So with psychology, how this teaches us is that people make decisions emotionally. They justify them with logic later. The concept is very, very popular that I need to do this. And then logically, this is why I should. We break that down. Sometimes we make the decisions the other way around, right? But by the time someone reaches out, they've already decided. The decisions you're making, the content didn't convince them. It confirmed. It helped confirm their choice. That's what it did. So today in our modern world, we have a lot of power over people. We have TV, we have radio, we have social media. The influence that we can actually put on somebody between all these, fake or real, can be very, very powerful. Look at your election. Look at when we go back, and I don't care if you're left or right. I'm just going to talk about it. You watch this news channel and you're getting this narrative, but you watch this news channel and you're getting this narrative. Which one do you believe? Maybe you believe this, maybe you believe that, but you're trying to build decisions in order for you to go and have it cast a vote based off what you know or what you trust and what you learn. You talk about manipulation is power. That's a great example. So one of these is being familiar with the people. If you're familiar with them, you follow them, you study them, you build trust. And as it becomes familiar, you're able to share that with other people because those referrals, those are powerful, right? That's why consistency beats almost all of this stuff. Consistency beats the quality early on. Social proof, it's number 2 out of this. Social proof, we look for signals. So who else trusts this person? So if I'm going to go buy this cell phone and I'm talking to Chaz and like, dude, I just got the 17 Max Pro. I love it. I went and talked to Jane at Verizon and she showed me 2 or 3 different options. And she said that this would be the best one for what I need. I'm like, well, why you need it is why I need it. So I'm going to go see Jane. And Jane, I walk in, I'm like, hey, talk to Chaz. She may have had 12 people after Chaz, and she's like, oh, okay, I obviously helped him. And maybe she doesn't have to remember it because she just was honest. People interpreted that as honesty, but to her it was irrelevant because that's just how she is. We've talked about this several times over the last 20 plus episodes. Consistency and authenticity are superpowers, right? Perfect feels fake sometimes. We talked about this yesterday about sometimes your losses are your wins. So perfect feels fake. Progress feels real. So when people see you grow and they see your message grow, that influence today, it comes from being relatable. And that relatability could potentially make you untouchable in your market. Why the camera amplifies your influence. Guys, it's an X factor because we have tools like this. The camera doesn't make you more or less influential. It just gives you another podium, right? Here I am with TikTok. I'm over here with Pinterest. I'm over here with Facebook. I'm over here with Instagram. I'm over here with LinkedIn. I'm over here, over here, over here. I had the opportunity to touch. In the first couple episodes we had, I was given a lot of statistics that I had gotten and found with my research. Hundreds of millions of people are on those social platforms. The influential opportunity you have to touch people is bigger now than it's ever been. And I assume that's only going to get bigger. That's why everybody's pushing so hard on social. That's why I'm not talking about something else. If I thought writing books would be the thing, if I was studying from Gary Vaynerchuk or Alex Hiramosi or Grant Cardone or these other guys, they're like, hey, social's out. Writing written word is in. I'd be talking about that, right? If I'm even doing that alone, maybe I'm writing about that. So how people relate to you isn't as scary as what you might think, because they're not just watching for you to be the expert. They're watching for your tone, your energy. Sometimes too much energy makes you feel fake or look fake. Your body language. Am I leaning in? Am I back? Am I sitting like this? Am I legs crossed? What is it? What are my beliefs? Am I comfortable sharing them? Do I stand behind them? This is why showing up matters more now than ever before. And I've said this 1,000 times. Showing up does not mean show off. It means show out. That's where the difference really starts to break in. How do we make this practical? So you guys can all watch this. I encourage you to watch it and share it. But making this practical is really, really important for, I don't care what business you're in. If you're in business, if you're in leadership, sales, commission sales, if you are doing recruiting, I don't care what you're doing. This part is important. So pay attention. People are asking themselves right now, subconsciously, do I like this person? Do I trust this person that I'm talking to right now? Does he or she make me feel safe? Or what content do they share? And does it seem to be relevant? So I've often had this conversation with people before, and I think it still holds true. This is another dadism coming from my dad. If I was to go away on a trip, so Chaz, I'm going to use you as my example. You're sitting over in the corner, and I left my billfold right here. I don't have it on me. Left right there. Credit cards, ID. I need my ID to travel, but follow me. Cash, whatever it is. And I ask you, please keep an eye on my wife, Abby, and my 4 kids, Olivia, Haley, Emily, Chase. I don't need you to feed them. I just need if they need something, please be there for them. And I come back home a week later. My billfold's right there, and my wife and my kids are happy and safe. How am I going to look at Chaz as a person? Right? You're going to build that value. Now, how am I going to talk about that person? That content that I share with people is going to answer questions before the conversation even starts. That influence is so powerful. So, by the way, that's influence. That's how you influence somebody. If you're invisible, we've talked about this before, right? You're not neutral. You're unknown. So the psychology behind this is you have to be everywhere, but you have to be sharing the right message. And people don't choose what they don't recognize. So you could be the greatest guy in the world, but if you're not sharing what you're doing, where's your influence? Influence isn't about being loud either. So you being this loud, crazy person doesn't mean you're going to influence. You could scare people away. It's about being present. Being present is the key. So influence today isn't about persuasion. It's about presence. If you guys can understand the difference between those two, I think whatever you're selling or whatever product you have has a much better opportunity to be seen, heard, and trusted. It's about showing up often. Showing up often enough that people feel, right? People feel they already know you before they ever met you. When you can start to do this, you'll truly start to understand the power you have. And when that trust is built before the ask ever enters the room, how much easier do you think it gets? I'd say a lot. Until next time, keep elevating your business and your brand.